Good afternoon. Today's topic is anterior cranial fossa. So this is the floor of cranial cavity, and as you can see, the floor of cranial cavity is divided into three descending steps. Right? This is the anterior cranial fossa. This is the middle cranial fossa, and this is the posterior cranial fossa. And you can see that they are of descending height. The anterior cranial fossa is at highest level. The posterior cranial fossa is at the lowest level, and middle cranial fossa is at a middle level. Okay. So today we are concentrating on the anterior cranial fossa. Anterior cranial fossa lodges the frontal lobes of cerebral hemispheres. Now, as you can see, the floor is composed of mainly three bones. You have the ethmoid bone here, you have the frontal bone here, and you have the sphenoid bone. So you have the ethmoid bone, frontal bone, and sphenoid bone. These are the three bones that forms the anterior cranial fossa. Now this is the middle cranial fossa. So let's see how anterior cranial fossa is demarcated from the middle cranial fossa. It is demarcated by the posterior free border of the lesser wing of sphenoid. Can you see it? This is the posterior free border of the lesser wing of sphenoid. On either side you can appreciate the posterior border of the lesser wing of sphenoid, and in the middle you can see the anterior border of sulcus chiasmaticus. Right? So on either side you have the posterior border of lesser wing of sphenoid, and on the middle you have the anterior border of sulcus chiasmaticus. So this is the boundary between anterior cranial fossa and the middle cranial fossa. Now the junction between these two, that is the posterior border of lesser wing of sphenoid and the anterior border of the sulcus chiasmaticus, is marked by a process. That process is known as anterior clinoid process. So between the posterior free border of lesser wing of sphenoid and the anterior border of sulcus chiasmaticus, you have got the anterior clinoid process. Okay, so coming to the features of the anterior cranial fossa. In the median region, from front backwards, you have got, this is the frontal crest, then you have a foramen cecum. This foramen is the foramen cecum. Then you have the crista galli, right? And behind the crista galli, you have the jugum sphenoidum. This is the jugum sphenoidum. So now we will see each of them. First of all, the frontal crest. This is the frontal crest, right? So frontal crest is a vertical crest of bone on the inner aspect of frontal bone. Just behind frontal crest, you have got foramen cecum. This is the foramen cecum. So foramen cecum is located between the frontal crest and the crista galli. Between the frontal crest and crista galli, you have got foramen cecum. Now behind the frontal crest, you have foramen cecum. Behind foramen cecum, you have crista galli. Crista galli is a bony crest which is formed by the perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone. The perpendicular plate of ethmoid bone will extend upwards as the crista galli. So this is the crista galli. Behind crista galli, this flat surface is the jugum sphenoidum. So jugum sphenoidum is the superior surface of the anterior part of the body of sphenoid bone. So in the middle you have got the frontal crest, you have foramen cecum, crista galli, and jugum sphenoidum. Now on either side of crista galli, you can see a sieve-like plate. That sieve-like plate is the cribriform plate. So on either side of crista galli, you have got a sieve-like plate. That sieve-like plate is called crista galli. It's a cribriform plate of ethmoid bone. On either side of crista galli, you have sieve-like cribriform plate of ethmoid bone. This cribriform plate of ethmoid bone, this sieve-like plate, will separate the anterior cranial fossa from the nasal cavity. So this is the anterior cranial fossa, and here you have the nasal cavity. So you can see here, this is the crista galli. So this is the cribriform plate which separates the nasal cavity from the anterior cranial fossa. Can you see it? The sieve-like plate here that is the cribriform plate. The term cribriform means it has got numerous openings, right? So the cribriform plate separates the anterior cranial fossa from the nasal cavity, right? Now, through this cribriform plate passes 15 to 20 filaments of the olfactory nerve. So, through the numerous small foramina within the cribriform plate passes 15 to 20 filaments of olfactory. Now, on either side of crista galli, you also have nasal slits. These are nasal slits. Okay. So, nasal slits, one on either side of crista galli, provides passage to the anterior ethmoidal nerve. And there is an anterior ethmoidal canal. You cannot distinguish it in this bone. An anterior ethmoidal canal along the lateral border anteriorly and a posterior ethmoidal canal along the lateral border posteriorly. This provides passage to the anterior and posterior ethmoidal nerve and vessels. So, through the anterior ethmoidal canal passes the anterior ethmoidal nerve, anterior ethmoidal artery and anterior ethmoidal vein. Through the posterior ethmoidal canal, the posterior ethmoidal nerve, posterior ethmoidal artery and the posterior ethmoidal vein. Now, in the lateral region, so that's about the middle. Now, coming to the lateral region, you can see that the frontal bone, this is the orbital plate of frontal bone. Orbital plate of frontal bone separates the anterior cranial fossa from the orbit. Okay, so this is the orbit and this is the anterior cranial fossa. So, this is the orbital plate of frontal bone. Okay, this is the orbital plate of frontal bone. Orbital plate of frontal bone separates anterior cranial fossa from the orbit. So, cribriform plate separates the anterior cranial fossa from nasal cavity. The orbital plate of frontal bone separates anterior cranial fossa from the orbit. This orbital plate of frontal bone supports the frontal lobe of the brain. That's why you can see the impressions of sulci and gyri within this orbital plate of frontal bone. It is irregular. You can see the impressions of sulci and gyri of the frontal lobe. Now, coming to the various structures passing through various foramina in the anterior cranial fossa. So, the first foramina, it is the foramen cecum. Through the foramen cecum passes an emissary vein from the nasal mucosa to the anterior end of superior sagittal sinus. This is the foramen cecum. Through that, an emissary vein passes from the nasal mucosa to the anterior end of superior sagittal sinus. Now, its importance lies in that infections can spread from the nasal cavity to the meninges of cranial cavity through this foramen cecum. Through this emissary vein, which is transmitted through the foramen cecum, infection can spread from nasal cavity to superior sagittal sinus. So, there are various communications between the nasal cavity and the dural venous sinuses. That is why nasal cavity, the nose, is known as the dangerous area of face. Okay. Then the next is the cribriform plate. On either side of the crista galli, you have cribriform plate. Through the cribriform plate, we have already discussed that there passes 15 to 20 olfactory filaments. So, these olfactory nerves are surrounded by leptomeninges. The leptomeninges is pia mater and arachnoid mater. Pia mater and arachnoid mater are together known as leptomeninges, and the olfactory nerves that pass through this cribriform plate are surrounded by leptomeninges. Olfactory nerves extends from the olfactory epithelium of the nasal cavity to the olfactory bulb in the anterior cranial fossa. Now, regarding the anterior ethmoidal foramen, as I told you earlier, through the anterior ethmoidal foramen passes anterior ethmoidal nerve, anterior ethmoidal artery and anterior ethmoidal vein. Anterior ethmoidal nerve is a branch of nasociliary nerve. Nasociliary nerve, as you all know, is a branch of ophthalmic division of trigeminal nerve. Anterior ethmoidal artery is a branch of ophthalmic artery. Anterior ethmoidal vein is a tributary of ophthalmic vein. Coming to the posterior ethmoidal foramen, through the posterior ethmoidal foramen passes posterior ethmoidal nerve, posterior ethmoidal artery and posterior ethmoidal vein. Posterior ethmoidal nerve, just like anterior ethmoidal nerve, it's a branch of nasociliary nerve. Posterior ethmoidal artery, just like anterior ethmoidal artery, is a branch of ophthalmic artery. Posterior ethmoidal vein, just like anterior ethmoidal vein, is a tributary of ophthalmic vein. Okay. So that is about anterior cranial fossa. Please remember the midline features: the frontal crest, foramen cecum, crista galli, and cribriform plate on either side. Then you have the laterally you have the orbital plate of frontal bone separating the orbit and anterior cranial fossa. Then between the anterior cranial fossa and middle cranial fossa, you have the posterior free border of the lesser wing of sphenoid and the anterior border of sulcus chiasmaticus, and between the posterior free border of the lesser wing of sphenoid and the anterior border of sulcus chiasmaticus, you have got the anterior clinoid process. So these are the features you should know about anterior cranial fossa. And one clinical importance, that is emissary vein passing through the foramen cecum can transmit infections from the nasal cavity to the meninges. Okay, thank you.